Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.
There was a mass shooting that took place last week in Atlanta. And in this incident that took place at the Northside Hospital Medical Office, 24-year-old Dion Patterson allegedly opened fire and killed one woman and wounded 4 others. Now, according to reports, Dion Patterson came to Northside Hospital's medical office on an appointment and allegedly was looking to get a prescription for Ativan, an anti-anxiety drug. However, as he was waiting in the waiting room for 2 minutes, he pulled out a firearm and allegedly began shooting people. And then after shooting people, he then left the Northside Hospital medical office and tried to carjack a car, and then was found in a garage and arrested. Now, the police are seeing this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged actions that Dion Patterson participated in, they fit the pattern and profile for men in crisis that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Dion Patterson became a man in crisis because the U.S. government did not give him the support that he needed after he was discharged from the military. Now, according to reports, Dion Patterson had gone to the VA and tried to get help, and the VA prescribed him some bad medication that impacted his mental health. Now, as Dion Patterson was dealing with issues as related to anxiety, what happened was he wanted to get a new prescription, and unfortunately, as he was going to the hospital, his mental health deteriorated. And as his mental health deteriorated, what happened was Dion Patterson allegedly, as he was waiting for this appointment, basically became erratic and completely out of control. And according to the reports in the Independent, Dion Patterson just had an episode, and he had this episode because he had just his mental health had deteriorated, and he took out a firearm he had brought with him and then began shooting inside of the hospital waiting room. And this is the type of behavior that happens when people don't get the support that they need as related to their mental health, because the VA, from what I've heard from many other YouTubers like Mad Voodoo Man, aka the Iceman, and many others, it does not really take care of its veterans. And what happens is that these veterans, they fight for our country and they fight to protect us, but sadly we don't make any efforts to go out and fight for those men and women who go out here and look to protect us from threats, foreign and domestic. No, when these men and women come home, they don't get any of the support that they need. And this is what happened to this young man, Dion Patterson. He did not get any of the support that he needed. No, what they did was just prescribe him whatever and just let the chips fall as they may. And again, this is the way America has just done many of our soldiers dirty. And this is why many of our soldiers, after serving their country, just get thrown a middle finger in their face, and they just get told to just deal with life. And that's not the way we need to be treating men and women who have gone out here and pledged their allegiance to our Constitution, gone out here and stood up to fight for our country. We don't go out here and stand to fight and advocate for those individuals. Many of those individuals, they suffer all sorts of mental trauma, and as they suffer mental trauma, they go to places like the VA looking for help, and instead of them going out here and getting that help, what they get are bad prescriptions, and those bad prescriptions wind up messing with their mental health. And I believe that this individual, he needed, again, that help, but instead of them giving him that help and support, what they did was basically just put him through the bureaucracy. And again, I've heard many people in the VA, again, talking about the VA and how it just does people dirty. And again, this is a textbook example of what happens. And again, this example just shows what happens when you don't have regard for our soldiers. Again, our soldiers sadly become individuals who feel like they have nothing to lose, and because they feel like they have nothing to lose, they feel like they have to destroy the world around them. And again, this is what makes these men in crisis. And these men in crisis, they desperately need our help, and I believe they deserve the very best from us. Our soldiers deserve better than what they're receiving, and it hurts my heart to hear about men who have served our country being homeless on the streets or having to deal with mental health episodes like this. It really hurts my heart because we have billions of dollars for the Ukraine. We have billions of dollars for undocumented immigrants, but we don't have time or money to invest in those men who have gone out here and served our country, U.S. citizens who have served our country. We have no time to go out here and give them the very best as related to health care and mental health care. We don't have the money to go out here and give these individuals a proper home or a proper life after they come back here. I mean, we should be giving our soldiers a priority, because if you as a citizen volunteer to serve this country, then you deserve to be given benefits the way we used to give white soldiers during the days of World War II after they came home. Those individuals were able to get college through the GI Bill. They were able to get their own homes, and they were able to get good jobs because we used to respect the men and women of our country. However, it seems like after the Vietnam War, a lot of our soldiers got nothing but a middle finger, and sadly, this young man who was in the military, he was given a middle finger, and again, left out here with a prescription that messed up his medication, as his mother alleges and Patterson himself alleges. They were left with no, again, support whatsoever. And again, I look at this mass shooter, and again, I just see him as a man in crisis, but I'm not going to call him a beta male. I'm going to say he's a man in crisis, and this man in crisis is like many members of our military. They are not being appreciated for all of the sacrifices they've made, and they're not being supported. And again, this just shows the betrayal of the contract between us and our soldiers. I mean, we need to make investments in these men. We need to invest in these men to help them when they come back here, because when we invest in our soldiers, we go out here and we prevent them from becoming men in crisis, because this mass shooting, as I see it, could have been prevented had somebody given this young man some sort of care, had somebody given Deon Patterson some sort of care. He would have been a man on the street, and he would not have been a man in crisis. Now, if you want to learn more about what leads to a lot of men struggling you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, and I talk about the problems that many men have, like homelessness and addiction. That is part of the man crisis. And again, a lot of guys out here wind up in crisis because people just don't support them. And again, it's a shame we treat our soldiers like garbage. I mean, our soldiers deserve better. And if people who serve our country, they deserve the best service. And that's something I want to see soldiers get. And again, want you guys to pick up The Man Crisis so you can learn about how some individuals become dysfunctional, and you can learn how to break that paradigm and help these men by investing in them so that they can go out here and actualize their potential. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, subscribe.
Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today.